Welcome to DKPittsburghSports.com Steelers Show. Steelers Show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. With the NCAA tournament coming up, you're going to want to maybe put some money down on some of those games. The conference tournament's also coming up. MyBookie.ag, the place to go to do that. You can bet hockey, football, basketball. You can bet golf. You can do anything there. Head over to MyBookie.ag and put your bets down and get paid. I'm Dale Lolley, Steelers beat writer for the DKPittsburghSports.com. Joined today by Chris Bradford. Chris Bradford, of course, our NHL, our Penguins beat writer. But Chris has also covered the Pittsburgh Steelers for quite a long time. And Chris, having the knowledge that you have of the team and having seen everything that you've seen over the years with the Steelers, the big thing heading into free agency period, which starts March 14th for the Steelers, is what are they going to do with Le'Veon Bell? That's the I guess maybe $60 million question that everybody's been asking themselves. That's the rumored contract. Nobody's ever gotten confirmation on that it was a 5-year, $60 million contract offer that he turned down last year. But that's pretty much the what has been agreed upon by everybody, that it was a 5-year, $60 million deal that Le'Veon Bell turned down last offseason, thus forcing the Steelers to put the tag on him.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the money figure that was thrown around last year that Bell didn't take it at that point. I'm still I think we agree to disagree on what's going to happen with Le'Veon Bell. I'm sort of the camp that the Steelers, same situation, they just won't come to terms and they'll place the franchise tag on him. I'm not sure if that's the right way to go, but I think that's the way it's going to happen.
Well, I think they're going to continue to negotiate that deal right up until the last moment when they have to put the tag on him.
And you know it's going to end up last.
If it comes down to it, they're going to put the tag on him. They're not going to let him walk for nothing.
Yeah. Well, you know it's going to come down to the last minute. It always bothers me. I shouldn't say it bothers me, but it's so predictable that you know it's going to. It always has to go down to the 11th hour before any of these things are going to get solved or not solved.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you know the question, the big thing is that Le'Veon Bell just turned 26 yesterday, by the way. So he just celebrated his 26th birthday on Monday of this week, and you're looking at a guy who's still in the prime of his career, a guy who, over the last 3 seasons, is the NFL's total yardage leader, a guy who does a little bit of everything. And so it's really hard to, when you have a player such as that. I think he, overall, if you look at him compared to some of the other players in the league, I think he's easily a top 10 talent, regardless of position.
Oh, yeah.
In the league. You don't let guys like that walk with no compensation, with only getting a third-round pick next year in return.
Yeah, that third-round pick's not going to help the Steelers, a team that's looking to win right now. So, no, he's definitely going to be back next year. It's interesting about Bell. He is such a phenomenal talent, but some of the things you heard when the last contract, it didn't work out for him, was the fact that he wanted to be paid like a number 2 receiver. And I certainly understand where he's coming from, because I think last year he certainly was that. Because
there were only 7 guys in the league who had more catches than him last year.
Yeah, he was certainly a number 2 receiver. You know, I think in a perfect world, you know, you're paying for what Le'Veon Bell is going to be in the future. Obviously not what he was, you know, the past 2 or 3 years. You know, if Martavis Bryant is supposed to be a number 2 receiver, guys like Juju Smith-Schuster are supposed to be a number 2 receiver. So I think that's where it gets a little dicey for me with that.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. There's no doubt about it. And as you mentioned, you have to pay him what you think he's going to be worth to you, not for what he's already done. And that's the problem. The running back position is one of it's really difficult in today's NFL to pay those guys long term, just because of the position, because of the pounding that they take. And you know, you see guys, for example, on Tuesday of this week, Doug Martin, who was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise player and then signed a long-term contract, was released.
Yeah.
And so any contract that he signed, that money's now void, other than the signing bonus or guaranteed money. That's the thing that people need to understand about NFL contracts. That's the only money that those guys, whatever they get in signing bonus or guaranteed money, is it. So, if, for example, last year Antonio Brown signed a 4-year, $68 million contract extension, only 19 of that was guaranteed. So if the Steelers cut Antonio Brown right now, that's all he's getting out of that contract. Now, I say only $19 million.
That's a nice consolation prize.
Yeah. Now, obviously, they're not going to cut Antonio Brown, but you get the gist. So if you're a guy like Le'Veon Bell, you want that guaranteed money because they could sign you to a 3-year, $100 million contract, but the chances are you're not going to see any of that money or most of it.
No, and with Le'Veon, obviously, that's different from Antonio Brown is he obviously has an injury history. He showed last year was the first year he's played from start to finish, and you don't want to say he's injury prone, but he has had some injuries. He has had the off-field issues. Those things seem to be in the rear view. At least you would like to think so. The off-field stuff. You just mentioned he turned 26, so he is maturing. But the injury question, I think that's going to be something that's always out there. And I think last year, at least for one season, he showed he could withstand an NFL season.
Yeah, he did, and we'll see what happens with that as we move forward here. For Chris Bradford, I'm Dale Lolley. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's time to cash in on non-stop sports action with MyBookie.ag. They have in-game live betting on nearly every sporting event, plus MyBookie.ag will match your deposit with a bonus up to 100%. With decades of expertise and no-hassle payouts, you'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code DKRadio to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-BETS or visit mybookie.ag to open an account. Sign up today.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts.
Who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues. With the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit schneiderdowns.com.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this amazing new website, stepoutside.org. Hi, I'm Dan Kovacevic of DK Sports Radio. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. I know about the outdoor life that's available to all of us in Western Pennsylvania. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, hunting, take part in power sports, shooting sports, water sports in your local community, across our region, across the country at stepoutside.org.
This segment of DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers coverage is brought to you by Henny Jewelers, Walnut Street, Shadyside. Henny Jewelers, your jewelers for life. I'm Dale Lolley, DK Pittsburgh Sports, here with Chris Bradford, of DK Pittsburgh Sports. Obviously, here we are, and we're talking some Steelers today. And Chris, the free agent period is coming up, and typically the Steelers don't spend a ton of money in free agency. I think some of that could change this year, especially depending on what happens with Le'Veon Bell. But one position that they've shown a propensity or a willingness to spend money at is the free safety spot. That's a spot where they've gone out and they've gotten a Mike Mitchell. They've gotten a Ryan Clark, going back to Brent Alexander and guys of that ilk. So they'll spend money on the free safety position because, for the most part, that's just not a big money position in the league.
No, I mean, when you look at what Mitchell got, was what, 5 and 25
5 years
million?
for $25 million.
Yeah, and he's obviously earned that money. Maybe not last year as much as people would like, but he's been a very solid citizen for him, at least on the field, I should say. It's interesting. I don't think you necessarily want to have an inexperienced, a rookie, a draft pick going in there.
Defense, yeah.
That's not probably a good look. So I think that probably explains why the Steelers have used free agency on that position.
Yeah, going all the way back, they really haven't had many young guys playing that position, and when they have, yes, I'm talking about the Anthony Smiths and Scott Shields of the world. Those guys get picked on.
Anthony Smith, I remember. Yes.
Yeah, I mean they get picked on because teams will try to, especially veteran quarterbacks, will kind of move those guys around the field with their eyes. Now, if you go get a rookie safety and plug him in there, you also have to come to the realization that Troy Polamalu, as good as he was throughout his career, barely played as a rookie.
Yeah, that's kind of a Steelers thing. I mean, that's how many guys they talk about. Every training camp you go to, you're like, oh, this guy, well, forget about him. You're not going to see him for another year.
Well, we've seen some of that change in recent years.
It has.
We've seen the young guys start, but not necessarily at that position. Now, they did start Sean Davis last year 2 years ago, I should say, as a rookie. He wasn't a full-time starter. People forget that he didn't really break into the starting lineup at strong safety as a full-time player until, midway through the season.
Yeah, that really worked out for him. 2 years ago now? I'll keep getting that wrong. But with Sean Davis and Artie Burns really, helped the Steelers in 2016 to be a playoff team. Do you think those guys took a little step back, Sean, at least?
I thought if anybody took a step back, I thought Artie Burns didn't progress from what I saw in the offseason and training camp. I thought he should have had a much better season than he did. I thought Sean Davis played overall better than he had as a rookie. I mean, you look at the numbers, he led the team in tackles, which is not necessarily something that you want your safety to do, but that is what it is. Also tied for the team lead in interceptions. Had a sack. I mean, so he made some plays for them this year. I think everybody kind of looked at that game against Rob Gronkowski and said, oh, look at that. He can't cover Rob Gronkowski.
Who can?
Yeah, exactly. Who can? But there's some interesting names out there on the free agent market. Morgan Burnett from the Packers, a 29-year-old safety. He's a playmaker, but he's probably going to cost you some money. LaMarcus Joyner from the Rams. He's 27, but he's a smaller guy. He's like 5'9", so he's more of a true center fielder. He's a pretty good player, but you're going to pay, again, top dollar for him. Kenny Vaccaro's the guy, if I'm looking at it. Kenny Vaccaro's at 27. He was a guy the Steelers were very interested in a couple of years ago when he was coming out in the draft. And you're looking at a guy that can move up and play some slot corner for you if needed. He could match up against tight ends, but he's also not bad on the back end as a free safety.
Now, position versatility, that's something that the Steelers obviously put a high premium on. That's something Mike Tomlin's always talking about. And Vaccaro, the thing I like about him is the age. At 27, he's still got some years left in him. If you're bringing in a 29-year-old, realistically, you're not looking really long-term on that guy.
Yeah, so I think those are some of the names to keep an eye on. Another guy that could fit the bill is Trey Boston. But Trey Boston, to me, he's a guy that began his career with the Carolina Panthers, went to the Chargers last year on a one-year deal, and had a big year. I think he had 6 interceptions last year for the Chargers, and everybody says, go get him. He had 6 interceptions last year. But the first 4 years of his career didn't look like that. He kind of struggled, kind of like Mike Mitchell did with Oakland, and then went to Carolina and had one big season before signing here.
Yeah, sometimes players just don't fit a certain system. Sometimes players know they're in a contract year and they have a tendency to rise to the occasion for obvious reasons.
Yeah, we see that happen in all of sports. So we'll see if what the Steelers do with that. But I do expect them to make a signing at free safety. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the inside linebacker position for the Steelers. I'm Dale Lolley. He is Chris Bradford. You're listening to The Steelers Show.
In Pittsburgh, we bleed black and gold and love our city. Born in Pittsburgh and now celebrating 130 years in business, Henny Jewelers is proud to be your premier jewelry store. Whether it's choosing that watch you've always wanted or you're searching for the ring that was made for her, trust Henny Jewelers. Visit our store on Walnut Street in Shadyside to see our extensive inventory of designer engagement rings, watches, and one-of-a-kind jewelry. For more, go to hennyjewelers.com and follow on social.
Embarrassed by that stained carpet in your office? Tired of looking at your dull, dirty floor? My Floor Needs is here to fix that. With years of experience and 24/7 service, My Floor Needs offers stripping and waxing, carpet, tile, grout, and concrete cleaning, as well as polishing and buffing services. Call 888-67-MY-FLOOR or email info@myfloorneeds.com for a free estimate and get your floors looking like new again. Whatever your floor needs, call 888-67-MY-FLOOR.
Does your company ever miss its sales goals or struggle getting new business?
Is it tough to hire or to give reps the right tools?
Hi, I'm Dan, and I started Engaged Prospect right here in Pittsburgh to help companies like yours.
And I'm Sam. We're helping companies hit sales goals and grow their businesses.
Think of us as your inside sales team.
Our clients are experts in their fields. We're experts in inside sales.
Give us a call today at 412-715-5151.
Or visit us online at engagedprospect.com/DK.
It's been 50 years since the summer of love, but if you're not performing as well as you'd like, check out endedforless.com. I'm Eric Cushy of Curtis Pharmacy. Don't pay premium prices for the little blue pill. So Denafil, the same active ingredient as in Viagra, costs 80% less. endedforless.com. All we need is your physician's name. We do the rest. Free shipping, too. endedforless.com. Curtis Pharmacy, Western PA's Better Way Pharmacy. curtispharmacy.com.
Welcome back to the Steelers Show. I'm Dale Lolley, Pittsburgh Steelers beat writer for DK Pittsburgh Sports, here today with Chris Bradford. And Chris, one other position that the Steelers obviously are going to have to take a look at in free agency and the draft, in my opinion. I think they bring in two of these guys, but inside linebacker is definitely a spot that they need to look at.
Yeah, I would think so. They were looking at it last year. I mean, remember Dante Hightower? They were willing to pay a mint for him. Didn't quite work out. Maybe the best thing that happened to the Steelers because they got the best season out of Vince Williams that he's ever had. And I suspect, at that position is so important in Steelers defense. I would suspect they not only look at it in the draft, they'll use it very high in the draft.
Yeah, and the other thing that they have to look at this year is the fact that Vince Williams, he's going into his final year of his contract. So they may end up having to get two guys at that position. Yes, we're saying Ryan Shazier is probably not going to play in 2018. He needs to basically walk before he runs. He's getting there. He's working on it on a daily basis, and he's getting better. I think we can all be thankful for that. But there's, I think it's going to be a journey for him to get back on the football field. So I expect them to draft an inside linebacker early, and I also expect them to sign one. It's just going to depend on what kind of inside linebacker they sign. You look at the inside linebacker class, the guy who stands out to me as the one who would fit the best in the Steelers system is Avery Williamson from the Titans. He's 26 years old, played in the 3-4 defense that was coached by Dick LeBeau, and he's a guy, he's kind of a Vince Williams clone. So, even if you bring him in and he starts the year beside Vince Williams and they draft a guy in the first round, if the young player beats one of those two guys out, you're okay with that, because you've still got depth there. And then next year you can move on from Vince Williams. The question is going to be, though, what are these guys going to cost?
Boy, you saw the money that was thrown around for Dante Hightower.
These guys aren't going. Nobody in this group is going to get that kind of money.
No, it's not quite Dante Hightower good, but certainly the Steelers are going to have to get somebody who's going to be a serviceable inside linebacker. No offense to Tyler Matakevich and L.J. Fort. The Steelers need a starter.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. There's going to be possibly some veterans cut free as well. Paul Puz-Leslie being one of them, the Moon Township guy? Hopewell Township guy. Another name to keep an eye on, Lawrence Timmons.
Wow.
If he gets cut loose by the Miami Dolphins, I would expect him to be on the next plane to Pittsburgh to sign back in with the Steelers. But there's some other interesting guys out there. I know Navarro Bowman. He's a former Penn State guy that, he's still 29. He'll be 30 when the season starts. Again, you're looking at maybe a rental, but he's had some injury issues over the course of his career. Demario Davis from the Jets, Jarrell Freeman from the Bears. He's 32, though. Derek Johnson was just cut loose, but again, 35 years old. So there's not, a ton of guys out there. Kevin Minter's a guy from the Bengals, former second-round pick for them. And it's tough. The other thing that you need to look at, though, when you're looking at inside linebackers for the Steelers, are some of those weak side linebackers, the smaller guys who are kind of run and hit sideline to sideline guys. I could see them maybe signing one of those guys and shifting them inside where their coverage abilities can be better used. So that's going to be bear watching here over the next few weeks, and we'll see what happens with that inside linebacker position.
Yeah, NFL season, it's never over, is it?
It isn't. It really isn't.
You got you're going to have the combine coming up next week, and then you go right into the draft and free agency, and then the draft. I mean, it's a good time for you.
Yeah, lots of rumors, lots of kind of intrigue with everything, and we'll see how that works out. We'll keep you updated here on DK Pittsburgh Sports of everything that's going on in the Steelers world. And, of course, Chris will keep you up to date on everything that's going on with the Penguins. Of course, their trade deadline coming up next week as well. So there's lots of things to watch here on DK Pittsburgh Sports. We'd like to thank our sponsors. That would be mybookie.ag and Henny Jewelers in Shadyside for sponsoring the Steelers show. For Chris Bradford, I'm Dale Lolley. You've been listening to DK Pittsburgh Sports.